Hello from Sicily, my Italian language learning adventure exploring the beauty of Sicily and sailing through the Aeolian Islands. Sicily, the name alone conjures up images of an exotic island, a mysterious and fascinating past. I have wanted to explore Italy for some time now, since I had not been there for a long time, and when I was pondering which region of Italy to explore, Sicily came to mind. I figured this island would offer a combination of fascinating history, rich culture, scenic beauty, and an opportunity for a wide variety of activities. One activity I definitely wanted to pursue was to combine my journey with language studies. My earlier language study trips to Havana and Cuernavaca, Mexico, not only got me closer to the Spanish language, but these on-site language learning experiences really allowed me to explore the culture from within. So this time I was going to focus on learning Italian, and I was able to locate 2 language schools in Sicily that would both provide a totally different experience and a different way of exploring the island. My accommodation was in a lovely 13-room privately owned hotel that has been operated by the Saglio family for more than 50 years. Mr. and Mrs. Saglio are in their mid-80s and continue to work extremely hard without even the thought of retirement, and their son Salveo works with them. In an interview I learned more about the hotel's history and the family's involvement in this business. On the second day I joined my first guided excursion with the Babylonia Language School, a guided hike to the ancient village of Castelmolla, which was followed by a tasting of Sicilian delicacies in a local bistro. My first weekend in Sicily promised to be great, an excursion to the ancient town of Syracuse and an exploration of the gorgeous coastline just east of Terramina, including the town of Matra and Isolabella. The following Monday was my first day of language studies. First we went through the placement test, and then we had our first lesson, which included some unique yet effective teaching methods. I was going to see firsthand how a real multi-course Italian meal was prepared, using authentic, locally grown ingredients. And of course, I would have a chance to taste the finished delicacies afterwards and partake of a nice meal with other language students and the local Ferrari family. My language studies the next day were followed by a visit to a local pottery painting artist, as Babylonia also offers pottery decoration courses, in addition to hiking, biking, golfing and diving programs. Perched on the rooftop patio of a Toning hotel, with a perfect view of an ancient palazzo right next to Mount Etna, I learned about Sicilian pottery painting techniques. In the late afternoon I joined another excursion to hike up the southern flanks of Mount Etna. I was a bit sad to leave Terramina, where I had gotten so comfortable, but a new adventure was about to begin. I took the train to Milazzo on the northeastern side of Sicily, where the next day I would embark on a 7-day sailing trip through the beautiful Aeolian Islands, offered by Laboratorio Linguistico, a Milazzo-based Italian language school. After meeting some of my 6 shipmates, who were really cool by the way, we were off on our sailboat, the Cabin Solitaire II, to our first destination, the island of Lipari, the largest of the Aeolian Islands, and an extremely scenic place. Our expert skipper Francesco, a licensed captain, also happened to be the co-owner of the language school, and one of our 2 resident language teachers on this sailing trip. After Lipari we continued our sailing trip to Salima, a neighbouring island, where 3 of us went on a driving tour to see local villages and also the house where Il Postino was filmed. An Italian lesson on the backyard patio of a bar was our first introduction to Laboratorio Linguistico's language teaching program. The town of Stromboli features such narrow streets that they are impassable to regular vehicles. No wonder the local carabinieri have to ride in golf carts. After a somewhat turbulent late-night voyage from Stromboli to Pineria, we arrived late and anchored in a bay off the island. On a gorgeous morning the next day we first had another language lesson, where else but on the outdoor patio of a bar in Pineria, surrounded by gorgeous sunshine and beautiful flowers. surrounding area is an extremely photogenic destination and offered great opportunities for hobby photographers like me. Our voyage continued to Lipari again, where we would end an eventful day with a scrumptious outdoor feast on the main square. Yellow rocks and thick clouds of sulfur announced that the forces of geology were indeed active right underneath our feet. And the view from the top over the 6 other Aeolian islands was breathtaking. After another Italian lesson on an outdoor patio overlooking the Mediterranean, we had to say goodbye to the Aeolian Islands and start to head back to Milazzo. Just as I thought our 7-day sailing trip would come to an anticlimactic end, one of my shipmates announced dolphins. And indeed 4 of these playful sea creatures were accompanying our sailboat, jumping in and out of the water and having fun with us. The excitement continued when we ended up catching 3 tunas on a fishing line we had been dragging behind our boat. Franco, our language teacher, took us on a guided walk of Milazzo, which features a huge fortification that dates back more than 1,000 years. After saying goodbye to my roommate Claudia, I spent my final Sunday in Sicily in the picturesque medieval town of Sforlu, about a 2-hour train ride from Milazzo. The city's medieval core and huge Norman cathedral, together with the ruins of an ancient castle on top of the rock that towers over the town, left me with many vibrant treasured memories. Now I only had 2 full days left in Sicily. Following a tour of the Milazzo headquarters of Laboratorio Linguistico, I went on a country excursion into the surrounding Abruzzo mountains with my 2 Italian teachers Francesco and Franco. We visited the rocks of Agrimasco, a cluster of mysterious-looking rocks on a high plateau with a gorgeous view of Mount Etna. After my arrival in LA, I had a chance to briefly explore this city, the 2nd largest city in Sicily, and get ready for my flight home. On this trip I found out that Sicily is gorgeous, and a visit in the late spring around April/May is perfect since everything is in full bloom and the hordes of tourists do not really arrive until June, July and August. Sicily has remained amazingly authentic and is fortunately free of many of the signs of mass tourism that mar the Mediterranean coastlines. Taormina and the Aeolian Islands are all stunning destinations, but the Sicilian hinterland in itself holds many hidden treasures. The history, architecture, culture and scenic beauty are astounding. And seafood lovers will definitely fall in love with this destination. I myself really enjoyed the language learning experience at Babylonia and Laboratorio Linguistico. As a matter of fact, my 3 weeks in Italy took me all the way up to intermediate level, and when I came back I was quite capable of communicating fairly competently in this new language. The people were great. The staff at both language schools was very helpful and knowledgeable, and the interaction with my co-students from all different countries was a real treat.